This is a common thing that I've seen thrown out is like, well, the Bible endorses slavery or it allows for slavery, and like no perfect being would allow that. So what are your thoughts on like Old Testament slavery with like the goodness of Christianity, Ken?
Yeah, it's such an important question because we're living at a time where people are very sensitive about race, about ethnicities, and the question of slavery comes up. Zach, I would say a couple things. Number one, I would say that almost every culture in the ancient world practiced slavery. The Romans, the Greeks, the Egyptians. I can't name one ancient civilization that didn't practice slavery. So it's important to realize that maybe slavery is a human problem rather than a Jewish or Christian problem, or rather than pointing to Caucasians, for example. It seems that human beings have a problem with slavery. We have a tendency to oppress. We have a tendency to control, to use other people. Now, having said that, I don't think what is commonly known as slavery fits with what we find in the Old Testament. Uh, for example, in the Old Testament, I think you primarily have what we might call indentured servitude. That is, the indentured servitude of the Old Testament in large measure addressed the problem of poverty. In the ancient world, there was no safety net, there was no welfare, there was no place to go if you couldn't pay your bills. And so you had a process where people would sell their livelihood, they would sell themselves to other people and work for them, and their needs would be met. But in this indentured servitude, people were not treated as if they were just mere property that you could beat them and you could kill them if you want. In fact, there are principles in the Old Testament because of the Mosaic law that says that masters have to be responsible for the people that are their workers or their bondservants. So I think it's a mistake to look at the antebellum slavery, the slavery of near the Civil War, and then to read that back into the Old Testament. I don't think it fits. In fact, one Old Testament scholar said there's only one law in the history of the ancient world that held masters accountable for the way they treated slaves, and that's the Mosaic Code. So you can say that, hey, why didn't God do something differently? But I would say God cares. In fact, here's a great quote. It comes from Houston Smith, who was a leading scholar of the world's religions. He contrasted the gods of Olympus, these are the Greco-Roman gods, with the god of Sinai, the god of the Old Testament. He said the gods of Mount Olympus, they're all about seducing the maidens. That's all they're after. But he said the God of Sinai, Yahweh, Jehovah, he's watching over the widows. He's watching over the orphans. He's watching over the aliens, the immigrants. He looks out for people who can't look out for themselves. And I remember, Zach, as a boy, I used to listen to Martin Luther King preach, the great civil rights leader. He was always quoting the Old Testament about God cares about people who lack power and lack food and lack money. Those are some of the things I try to bring up.